Good morning, BHS students. It's the Devil's Nation podcast, brought to you by BHS. I'm your host, Anthony Russo. Open campus. Yes, very important episode. Open campus is the topic for today, and whether or not BHS should have one. And I know right now it sounds crazy, BHS open campus, but it could happen, and in my opinion, it should happen. And I'll be telling you why right now. So let's get into it. I'm going to be splitting up today's episode into 3 phases. Phase 1 is why having a closed campus is such a problem. Phase 2 is going to explain BHS's current stance towards the open campus right now. And Phase 3 is going to be the good part. It's what I think we should do and how I believe we can have an open campus, which just sounds crazy right now, but could happen. So let's get things rolling right now with Phase 1. For those of you who don't know, an open campus policy would mean that BHS students are allowed to go wherever they want during lunchtime to get food, whether that be their house, whether that be a local place they like to get food, just anywhere they want. It does not have to be the high school cafeteria. That could be very useful for many BHS students who find the food served at the cafeteria to be unhealthy and undesirable, to say the least. A junior at Burlington High School and friend of mine, Megan McDonald, had this to say in a recent interview about the quality of BHS cafeteria food.
The food here looks gross. It's low quality and unhealthy.
Another issue I have with BHS's closed campus is that I feel it decreases the students' quality of life during school hours. When I asked Megan how open campus would affect her, she had this to say.
Honestly, if I was able to go get some food with my friends and hang out for a bit, I bet I'd be in a better mood for the rest of the day and it would be much better.
It's hard to maintain a healthy diet attending Burlington High School. The lunch options are limited and lack nutritional value. That is not a unique issue to Burlington High School, as many face the same problem. A counter-argument could be that if you want to eat healthy so bad, you could bring your own food, but by the time lunch rolls around, it's usually not as fresh. Some other issues that opening up BHS's campus could relieve include the elimination of the daily confusion of split lunch periods. When asked about open campus potentially eliminating the need for 2 lunch periods, current Burlington High School junior Jake Doyle had this to say.
If they got rid of split lunch periods, that would make it less confusing for everyone.
My last issue regarding BHS's closed campus is a potential lack of food. As growing high school students, many of my classmates find the need to go for seconds or even thirds during lunchtime, which can be very inconvenient for other students. Burlington High School senior Daviana Alford had this to say about the issue.
If you're 10 minutes late, then you're pretty much screwed with options. You don't have that many options left. And so I think that if we had open campus, that it would be, you'd be given a lot more options and you wouldn't be limited.
Alright, that was Phase 1. Now let's kick things into Phase 2. In Phase 2, I'm going to go over the current stance of BHS and its campus. As you already likely know, BHS currently has a strict closed campus policy. This prevents students from leaving during lunchtime. And if a student is caught trying to leave at any time during the day, they will receive disciplinary action. The administration enjoys having control over the students, which is clear to see. This strict policy is having a negative effect on students and their morale. Students would be much happier if the campus was open. Having the campus closed denies students of any freedom. A taste of freedom could go a long way for a young adult. This is yet another reason a closed campus is bad for BHS. It's clear to see that the closed campus stance of BHS has negative effects on students. However, the administration has stated their reasons behind not having an open campus many times. But I find these reasons they have against it are just problems that could have an easy solution to eliminate the issue before it becomes one. Of the reasons the administration have given as to why we have no open campus, there are 2 that stand out as the strongest among the bunch. The first of these issues is that they believe students will not come back to class after lunch period. I personally believe there's a very easy solution to this problem, but I will get into that later. The second reason they give as to why they won't open up our campus is that they are personally responsible for students during school hours, even if they are to leave the campus. Again, I find this to have a quite easy solution, which I will get into later. While not said specifically by BHS administration, I think there's another reason that BHS's campus remains closed. It is that the administration really has no interest in opening it. I and other students, including Daviana Alford, who I interviewed, recall certain administration members seeming irritated when asked about an open campus. They do not want students at BHS to have an open campus because they don't want to deal with making it work, as it will only benefit the students and not them. If students really want to make a difference, they have to stand up for what they want. Otherwise, the administration won't go through the process of making it work. And now it's time for what you've all been waiting for. Phase 3. Phase 3 is going to be all about my personal solutions to the problem. My recommendations are not only to the BHS staff, but to you, because we need the staff to listen. And the only way that's going to happen is if we all stand up together and make our voices heard. When it comes to those two main issues that BHS administration credits towards the campus staying closed, a solution to keep students from abusing the policy and coming late is to enact a 2-strike policy that would give students one chance to make an honest mistake, and on the second strike, they are out. They lose their privileges of an open campus, and if they are caught a third time, they will receive strict disciplinary action. When it comes to being responsible for students during school hours, the administration could create a waiver to be signed that waives BHS's responsibility of students during lunchtime. If I could come up with decent solutions to the two main problems keeping the campus closed within 5 minutes, it's clear to see that the BHS administration is not putting any effort into opening BHS's campus. This is where the students need to step in. They need to make their voices heard, and they need to make a fuss. They need the BHS staff to have no choice but to listen. If we, as a collective group of students, can do that, can make sure the administration knows our stance on open campus and how much we want it, I really truly do believe we can get the administration to establish an open campus policy for Burlington High School. With this would come many positives, the first of which being an improvement of students' daily lives and moods. This change would also give students a very necessary taste of freedom as they are young adults, and it will go a long way in preparing them for their life after high school. At the end of the day, I believe my plan would result in BHS having an open campus policy. And that's all the time we have for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in to the Devil's Nation podcast. I've been your host, Anthony Russo. Make sure to tune in next week. Peace!